All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes. Listen. Let's just pretend. Let's just pretend that today is the 25th of December, which is supposed to be a Sunday, the day that I'm supposed to make an episode and then upload and grace your ears with my rant. Let's just pretend that today is a Sunday, right? And I am doing everything that I am supposed to do on time and in record time. Virtually, that's what I'm trying to say. Let's just say that today is the 25th, and I'm supposed to do this episode on the 25th. Um, and that this drink I'm actually having right now is the first drink I am having. Let's just pretend that that's just how things went. But if we're going to be honest with ourselves, if I am going to be honest with myself, right? Um Today is actually the 29th. I am like 4 days off course because of how unpredictable life can be. Um I was supposed to like do an episode. I was supposed to make an episode on Sunday, being the 25th, and talk about Christmas and stuff like that, but it wasn't possible because obviously, I mean, it doesn't even need to be explained. And believe it or not, 25th was on Sunday was going to be the day, was going to be my how many days? Fucking 30, no, not 30, 55 days sober without drinking. On Sunday was going to be me going 55 days without drinking. Like I didn't drink throughout the whole entire month of November, and I was hoping to break that. I was hoping to break that fast on the 25th of December, and I did. But I was hoping to break it on the podcast. But as things didn't go according to plan, I I could not. And so that's why I'm saying that we should pretend that today is the 25th and today is the day I'm breaking my fast with this beer with this beer I have in my hand with this beer I have in my hand right now. So yeah, that's that about that, like I always say. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your potentially favorite Nigerian podcast with me, your host, General Prime. And I hope everybody's um Christmas has been eventful. That's the least word I can use. Eventful, because I don't know if I'm the only one that has noticed it lately. It doesn't or maybe it's probably because of where I am. It doesn't feel like Christmas. Like it doesn't feel like I can remember when we used to be when we were a lot younger, right? Let's say I'm sure everybody shares this experience as well. I remember when we were a lot younger, like back in Nigeria, um, there used to be this celebratory spirit. There used to be this happy, merry vibe everywhere. Like everywhere would be filled with like Christmas trees and Christmas decorations and Christmas music and just the vibe whenever it was December, like the vibe was this celebratory vibe that everybody was like just oozing out and just giving. But lately, it doesn't feel that way. I was even talking to someone back in Nigeria, and the person was telling me that it doesn't even feel like it's Christmas in Nigeria because everyone is too busy, everyone is too like um engaged to think about Christmas. Like there nobody gives a hoot any longer about Christmas. Nobody like really gives it that much of a thought, that deep thought like they used to do before. There's no longer any Christmas music, or there's not as much as Christmas music as there's supposed to be. And things are just stale right now. Things are just odd and stale and dry, and everybody's just looking for the fastest way they can make money and put food on their table and go about their days. Nobody's really thinking about Christmas again, and it's kind of sad because Christmas is supposed to be fucking um the the cherry on the cake, right? The cherry on top of the cake. Christmas is supposed to be like Chris. It's how am I going to put it? It's cool that the Christians made it that like the birth of Christ should be at like the end of the year, and everything just comes together to make sense. What I'm trying to say is that like Christmas being the end of the year, and then winter, and then the Christians celebration of the birth of Christ, everything just makes sense. Every Christmas just makes sense. And even though I don't believe in God or whatever, Christmas to me is the best time of the year. Like Christmas is my favorite holiday. Uh, and I just kind of feel sad that we no longer give it that much reverence as we used to do. Like when it's kind of sad I'm about to say that it's kind of sad I'm about to use the expression when life was good or when things were a lot better, because of course obviously right now it doesn't seem like things are going well with everybody on earth. Like things are hard everywhere, of course, except you're a billionaire or the son of like a fucking millionaire or something. Things are kind of fucking hard right now. So it doesn't seem like that vibe is kind of dead and gone and sad, because to me Christmas, like, if I don't remember much as a child, like I've said this before, I don't really remember a lot. The most the I don't know, my earliest memory my earliest memory as a child, believe it or not, is me being me being a baby and being weighed. I don't know if anybody knows that stuff that they use to weigh babies, right? So that's my earliest memory of me being a child. But aside that, I don't actually remember much. Like I don't remember a lot of things. I usually feel like I am kind of like a sleeper agent, right? Or someone who is just let me explain as best as I can. I usually feel like I am someone who is who is inhabiting this body for the first time in his life, and then let's say, but then this body is going to have all the memories and experiences of this, should I say, like for example, the way I see it is that the body is the hardware and then the mind is the software. So like the software is inhabiting the hardware for the first time. Say like for example today is the 29th, right? The software jumps from one body to another body every single day, and so it any body that the software inhabits, the body being the hardware, is able to have a recollection of all the memories and experiences of the software so that it can function and be able to recognize people and stuff like that. So that's how I've always felt as a child. I've always felt I've always felt like I am this software that that hops from one body to another, and then it makes me and then there are some kind of glitches or bugs that makes me forget about especially my childhood. So I can't really remember much about my childhood. So, but one of the things I can remember vividly about my childhood is this, like that I can call the most perfect day of my life was like Christmas Day in 2002. That was like the most perfect day I can remember in my life. Like everything was just perfect. Everyone was around. There was loud music playing. There was a lot of food, celebration. Everything was just perfect in that day. So, but it doesn't. I don't know if it's because we've grown up. Like I'm sure we all have memories of what Christmas used to look like. Obviously, I cannot speak for everyone because not everyone might have been as fortunate as the rest of all of us. And even those of us that feel, I mean, fortune is subjective. Fortune has its own spectrum. So not so what you might call fortunate, some people might call unfortunate. And also what you feel is fortunate, there are some unfortunate people that will be dreaming to have that kind of life that you're living, right? So what um I don't I forgot where I was going with this train of thought. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that the spirit of Christmas is dead, basically. The spirit of Christmas is dead, in my own opinion. And I don't know if it's because, yeah, I've remembered what I was saying before. I don't know if it's because we're now adults and then we no longer have this, um, we are no longer able to see or experience things how we how we used to when we were kids. I'm sorry about my voice. How we used to when we were kids, because life, obviously. So I don't know if it's because of that, but I just feel like Christmas is no longer the way it used to be before, and I wish it can change. I wish there is something that we can do. I mean, for obviously there are people who still enjoy Christmas. Like there are families who still like come together and make sure that there's a certain kind of celebration. And also kudos to people who still put Christ in Christmas. Kudos to them. Even though I don't believe, it's still something that I prefer. It's still the best way I prefer Christmas should be celebrated, even though Christ was not actually born on the 25th of December. But let's not go into that. So yeah, that's I don't think that today's episode is going to be as long as I want it to be, because I just had to do this. Like I just had to like squeeze out time to do this um because I have to. Like I cannot just go an entire week, and there's a certain way I already planned to make to put out these episodes, and to go against my plan. Hmm, that's not something that I want to do, or that's not something I want to catch myself doing as often as doing that often. So that's why I'm deciding to do it on a Thursday instead of just like letting it go. I don't like going against my plan. But the truth of the matter is that things don't always go according to the plan. Like you can cross your T's and dot your I's as intricate and as careful as you want to, but but it's kind of fucked up when your plans don't work. Like it messes me up when, like, I always tell myself that I don't like failure, even when it's meant to be a lesson. Like I don't like failure, even when it's meant to be a lesson. That's what I always tell myself. But um but then failure to an extent is inevitable. To a point, rather, is inevitable. And that's not what I like. I don't like that at all. But so when you make a plan and then you like you kickstart your plan and everything is going accordingly, but then all of a sudden just everything goes south. It's fucked up. It's fucked up, and that's it. Just shows how unpredictable life can be. And and I, I was thinking of something based on making plans, right? Okay, yeah. What I was going to say is that if what I was going to say is that if you make plans, if you're the kind of person like say like me, for example, that makes plans, and then sometimes, most of the time rather, your plan doesn't work, it shows that you're not in charge of your life. To put it plainly, it shows that you're not in charge of your life. Like people who make plans and say more than 70% of the time their plans actually work. It means that they're actually in charge, like they're actually in control of their destiny and control of every situation they find themselves in. But people who make plans as intricate and as carefully and as precise and as like perfectly as they can, but then 60 or 70% of the time their plans never come to fruition. Is it fruition? Is that the right word? Fruition? Fruition. Let me see. Fruition, right? Yeah. So people who make plans and 70% of the time their plans never like pan out, basically means that they're not in charge of their lives. Basically means that they're not in charge of their destiny. Basically means that they're not masters of themselves. And it says a lot. It says a lot. It speaks a lot. And so so what I learned basically from this thought exercise is that what I've learned from this thought exercise is that for your plans to go to work at least 70% of the time, you have to be in absolute control of your life. You have to be the absolute master of yourself. You have to be in charge. Like I always come back to this whole mind over matter problem or situation. I always talk about how um you have to be I always talk about how the mind is this alien entity, this alien fucking this basically the mind is the brain, our brains, the human brain is basically an alien that has invaded um this ape like body and taking over it, and it's kind of being like our body is basically a mech suit. Like for example, I don't know if you've seen this. I'm sure many people have seen the movie. Sorry about that. I'm sure many people have seen the movie Pacific Rim. So just imagine the robots being the human body, and then the guys, the people, the soldiers inside the robots, the mech suits, the kai, no, not the kaiju, the giant robots. Just imagine them being the brain. So that's basically what I'm trying to say. So for for you to be able to know how to control, for the mind to be able to 100% know how to be master of the body, it has to know every control, it has to know every button to push, it has to know how to manipulate the body to do its bidding. But if your body is more in control of your mind than your mind is of your body, then you're not going to there is not going to be a lot of change or achievement or success, whatever that means to you, taking place. So of course what I'm saying is that train your mind to be strong enough to be able to control your body. Yeah, that's it. And that also goes, like, it can also go either way. Like for example, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that someone whose mind is a lot more in control over their body is in control over their body for something positive, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be. I mean, there are people who are fucking monsters, and then they are monsters in a bad way, actually, and then they are masters of their mind, and then they use the mastery of their mind to make their bodies to do evil things. Like for example, let's talk about pedophilia. Like I've talked about it before, right? I'm sure I know that it's something that is quite unfortunate and affects some people, and then makes them makes them do abhorrent things to minors, right? I'm sure everybody understands how that goes. But it all starts from the mind, and then the mind invades the mind. Their their minds are clouded with this need, this insatiable, abhorrent, disgusting need that they cannot control. Because am I putting this correctly? Because I mean, is it even possible? Like, let's even look at this whole situation called. Let's look at this whole sickness, because it's a sickness. This whole pedophilic sickness, right? Let's just intricately look at it, because it's something I always think about. Like, I've talked about it a little before, but I really want to like talk about it today. I'm not going to spend a lot of time today, because like I have things to do. So when someone's a pedophile, right? This is weird. I'm talking about this like this today. When someone is a pedophile, hmm, it's like, how does that work? Like, we've already established that homosexuality is not a disease, right? So we cannot put pedophiles and homosexuals and trans people in the same category. Like, we cannot do that. But let's just give spotlights to this thing called pedophilia. Like, when how does that actually work, and how should we actually kind of like treat it or follow it up? Like, I've seen articles where they're talking about creating um sex dolls. Like, wow, it's even difficult to talk about this. Like, childish, not sure. Oh, fuck me. What? Oh, this is so uncomfortable to talk about, bro. Let's not talk about. It's too uncomfortable for me to like utter, and for my ears to hear what my for my ears to hear what my mouth is saying. But let's, bro. God damn. Oh, yeah, me. Oh, God damn. Mm. So we are practically 2 days away from entering the next year. Holy shit. We're practically two entire days away from like uh from entering 2023. And it's been one hell of a year, man. It's been one hell of an entire year. God damn. And I don't know how next year is going to be. I have no idea how next year is going to be. But and you know one thing? One thing I've noticed is that I've not heard a lot of people talking about 2023 going going to be their year or something like that. I've not seen a lot of people doing that. I don't know if it's because people are scared. I don't know if it's because people are scared of how the year is going to go, but people have just learned how to be skeptical, or people have just learned how to not do that, have that kind of prospects anymore. But well, I hope that the coming year treats us um treats us fairly, at least. Yeah, that's that about that. There's not much that I feel like I can say. There's not much I feel like I can say today, because um I really had to like there's I really had to like rush it, and um my thoughts are not like detailed. Like, I haven't really like laid down, there isn't really a laid down plan for um this episode. I just like had to do it because I cannot not do an episode in 1 week. It's something that I have been forcing myself to do for a long time. And if I don't do it, um I'm going to be so angry with myself, and I'm going to be so mean and unnecessarily critical with myself. So that's why I had to do it, because because yeah, that's that. I don't really want to end that. I just want to get to that 30-minute mark. So let me see if there's something else I can talk about that that probably has happened to me this week, or something like I remember that has always been on my mind that I feel like I should talk about that isn't related to anything concerning pedophiles. What the fuck? So like I really think about that a lot of time. It's just that it's something that when I am ready to talk about, or when I have given it a detailed thought, then I'm going to share my opinions about it. But right now, it's just too damn uncomfortable for me to like even say or even like give like a thought to. Yeah. So anyway, imagine, just imagine if um, just imagine if I'm just trying to imagine right now, because right now I don't really have any weed, man. So just imagine if I like went through this went through the end of this year without like smoking, or went through this entire month actually, because actually without dabbing. That is just going to be sad. But thank God for black markets. I'm not saying more. So anyway, um there is nothing more I can say. I just today's episode should be this short. Today's episode should be this prompts, and I wasn't planning on making it long enough anyway. But I hope that it's going to be longer than this in 2 days, because I tomorrow is 31st is going to be on Sunday. Or no, sorry, the first is going to be on Sunday. So yeah, the next time you're going to hear my voice on will be next year. Yeah. So thank you guys um for giving me your ears, and don't forget don't forget to follow me on Twitter, and at General Prime 1, and I'll talk to you guys next year. I'll talk to you guys next year. All right, bye everyone.